begin tonight with journalist, NewsNation contributor Chris Cillizza, Steve Cortes, former senior advisor to President Trump, now an advisor for the Never Back Down PAC. Gentlemen, good to see both of you. Mr. Cillizza, start with you.
Yes,
you
sir.
put in your newsletter today, which I subscribe to, everyone else should as well, that what Trump is doing with tariffs is quote unquote insanity. I am wondering if you are looking at the world, understandably, through the lens of the old rules of Washington.
Well, I don't think so, Leland, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm looking at the world based on what happened 6 weeks ago when Donald Trump put reciprocal tariffs into place and the stock market went down, the bond market went down, the dollar got less stable, Donald Trump lost in terms of polling confidence of the public when it comes to handling the economy. I mean, I always say this. I'm a political reporter, not an economist. So when we could debate, and I wouldn't be particularly good in debating whether this is good economic policy. My sole view here is we know how this story ends unless something has changed in the last 6 weeks. Possible, but not probable. So I don't think I'm operating under the old Washington, to be totally candid.
Okay, well, we appreciate candidness above all here, so thank you. Steve, there is something that Donald Trump is onto. That said, even his most ardent supporters, Bill O'Reilly among them, tells us that the working class Americans that supported Donald Trump must feel real economic gains by Labor Day, roughly 90 days from now. How much of the positivity, the right track, wrong track, do you feel comes from hope, which is an important thing that Donald Trump has given, versus real economic gains so far?
Right. Leland, here's my very honest answer. Right now, I think it's more the former. I think it's a vibe switch. I think Americans, and I'm happy to, of course, talk the economy, but I think Americans are thrilled, for example, that we have a border under control. We don't have millions of illegals pouring across Biden's open border any longer. They are very thrilled that we have a president who is not only not cognitively impaired, but a man who defies his age in his activity level, in his mental acumen. But in addition to that, to get to the economy, because again, this is critical for most voters, and for most voters, it will be the #1 barometer by which they will judge Donald Trump going forward. And I hope I speak with some authority here. I was a bond trader for 25 years before Trump got me into this business of politics. And the bond market right now is nervous, quite frankly, about this massive macroeconomic reshuffling, rebalancing that Donald Trump and Scott Bessent and the rest of his team have engaged in. Now, I think it is totally necessary because America has been abused for decades, and American workers have been exploited by predatory trade practices, particularly by the Chinese Communist Party.
However,
after 25 years of doing business that way, when you change things, and when you change things dramatically, there is volatility that is inherent, and it is tumultuous. I'm confident we come out on the other side a far better, far richer nation. And by the way, Donald Trump was given this mandate. He never hid what he was going to do, and he won not just every swing state, but the popular vote, too.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.